Hey now, Judy Moulton, Grateful Mindset Properties, Realty Radio Show host. Thanks for listening each week, folks. I am grateful today for my audience, for those of you that listen each Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on 107.7 FM WHKP, where the heavens kiss the peaks. You don't have to be country music fans to listen to our Realty Radio Show. We're a tad of art, science, human interest, and bringing special guests. And I do have a special guest today, and I really hope you stick around for my Local in the Spotlight news. This week's guest is Mark Powers. He's a writer. He's a worship consultant. He's a mountain song chorus director. He lives here in Hendersonville, so he's local, folks. And so he will be on in a few moments after I share some real estate news, local, national, some fun facts, some things happening on the MLS, the multiple listing system, things here locally and beyond. So please here, I hope you really enjoy listening to me each week. Saturday mornings, WHKP.com, 107.7 FM, 1450 AM. Judy Moulton, Grateful Mindset Properties. You can always reach out, text, email, call me, 828-290-0940. Some quick facts about Grateful Mindset Properties. We were founded in 2020, and we serve Western North Carolina and beyond with a grateful mindset. We are local experts. We have offices in Hendersonville, North Carolina, here in Lenox Park. If you're not familiar with the Acoustic Trail or Lenox Station, we are right by it. We serve Asheville, Brevard, the whole Asheville and metro area. And just a shout out to any real estate agents or brokers that are listening. We are hiring folks, and I will be on some local pre-licensing, doing some pre-licensing talks, and as well as the radio, and bringing folks on. So really hope we'll bring some folks on soon. Let's take a look at the MLS and see what's going on. I mean, right now, all my listings, my under contracts are under contract and sold. I am definitely looking for sellers. I'll be talking a little bit more about that in a few moments. But we do have a few coming soon. I will tell you right now, the market is a little slower, a tad slower. I've been talking to my buyers. I got a slew of buyers right now, and I got some folks that are thinking of listing. But I will say to you that, we've got only about 3 coming soon. And right now, new listings, about 15. Last week when I talked, we had about 25. So we're about halfway down. We've got some price decreases, some price increases. And we're back on the market with about 4. But just so, some new listings, just so folks kind of know what's going on. Here in Hendersonville, we've got some stuff going on in Cummings Cove. We still got a few in the Orchards Park area. Here in Rutherfordton, just Henderson County, Rutherford County, Haywood County, Transylvania County, Buncombe County. There's a few, so make sure you reach out, 828-290-0940. Please reach out for any reason or no reason. And, the price decreases, those homes that sit a little bit longer on the market. And the reason really is, and I talked about this last week on the show, is we get some flippers, we get some quick fixes, we get folks that, don't realize that really hiring a licensed and insured professional, someone, a general contractor who's got carpenters and electricians and plumbing and all that under his belt, and then also, some specialized folks, whether it be masonry and so on, foundation or crawl space experts, it really is important to hire the licensed folks, the professional folks like myself who can come in and do a real estate review, home inspectors who can do a pre-inspection, all those things that really help make your property more viable. We are in a low inventory market. I mean, I've been showing lots of property, and there's just a lot of flips out there. Some good ones. There are some folks who are licensed that are really putting in some quality craftsmanship. But those who don't get permits, those who come and visit or have like an LLC out of state, I see a lot of those Florida folks that do that. And, what happens is we get these quick flips, and then inspector comes in, or I bring my husband, a licensed GC, out for Greenway Construction. He takes a look and he says, wow, this was a quick flip. And then what happens is buyers and sellers now have to put money into these things, and they have to go back and say, oh, you know what, we've got to lower the price. And that's why we see a lot of these price decreases. So it really behooves you to get those licensed folks in there. Another thing that we're really seeing is garages are really important, that 2-car garage. But people putting an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit, putting a 1 or 2 bedroom above the garage really seems to help sell a home. People really need, storage, but they also want like a place that might be separate, a she shed or he shed or whatever they shed, where they can kind of go and hang out and, just kind of take some time for themselves. So that's really important, a grateful thing to have. So really something to think about. Interest rates, I will tell you, we are still in that 7.1, 7.1.5, 7.1.9. I mean, we are really getting close to 7.2. It's predicted it is going to go up again for the 30-year as well as the 15-year. I mean, in 2019, we were in the 6s, but we are going to stay in the 7% in 2023. And, lenders talk about, I have some folks I work with, and, again, you can reach out to me. I can give you some suggestions on some local folks that do lending, but buying down the rate, recasts, HELOCs, refinance, but buying down the rate, a 2-1 buy down can help a seller or a buyer. You can pay that monthly rate. You can work out a payment plan for that first year that you're comfortable with, and then in year 2 it'll have a slight increase, and then in year 3 it levels off. It levels off. So I'm talking really fast, so I got to slow down. I got to be grateful for slowing down and just taking a moment to take a breath, something I'm definitely grateful for besides those 5 basic needs, right? And so, kids going back to school, darker mornings, low inventory, all these are factors that slow things down in the market that we see in Western North Carolina and across the U.S. But, I will tell you, some of the housing areas that have been hardest hit with the recent rate hike, the Federal Reserve has recently, talked about sort of expectations and higher interest rates, and they've gone up about 25 basis points, which has put even more stress on already the battered housing market, the low inventory market, pushing back against these rate hikes for over the year we've seen, and especially we saw in July, went up 11 points since March of 22. It reflects that the Federal Reserve attempts to slow down inflation, and we know that the Fed has paused the rate hike last month, but then they assumed this pattern going up since, over a past year, we've seen this increase. The key rate in the target rate is about 5.2%, 5.25 to 5.5. That's the highest it's ever been since January 2001. And we're going to see certain housing markets across the country hit harder than others. I'm going to talk about those in a moment, especially places where expensive properties exist. We see these price increases, right? But they're expected to see, this slowing down due to these rate hikes in Seattle and San Diego and New York and Los Angeles and Boston and Miami, places that we have historically seen the housing market really high. So if buyers need a mortgage to purchase a property, they'll probably see a significant impact on the higher end in these more expensive properties and these more expensive cities. But in Western North Carolina, we have held strong. We are in a low inventory market, yes, but we're in an area where taxes are relatively low, relatively climate change. We're pretty central in the country, so we're pretty adverse to some of these sweeping effects as we're seeing the coastal areas really hit the hardest in terms of the warming effects and hurricanes and everything we see going on, right? So the Fed has created we talk about this deep freeze in the housing market. It's continuing to be a theme in the market in the U.S. and so on. Between May and 2022 and 2023, according to Fortune magazine, the report has shown that there's been a decline in about 0.5%. Zillow has shown a decline in the average home and the price point. We were looking at about $350 to $400. We're seeing about a 1.2% decline across the board, and these things do play a role. So, the question that's come up, I sent an email blast out to my folks that I work with, again, 828-290-0940 or gratefulmindsetproperties.com. Feel free to reach out for any reason or no reason. But I sent out some notes that, should you stay, should you go, should you sell? One of the things that show HGTV program, Love It or List It, talks about, right? It's like, love it or list it. Homeowners today, what they're looking at, should I stay? Is your mortgage close to be paid off? That is a reason to stay, but there are things to look at. The first 15-year, the 30-year mortgage. Are you coming up with a hunk of cash? Should you pay everything off and then maybe find something else? Buy down the rate and buy something smaller. If your credit isn't good, if you're not gonna have a good quality loan, then maybe stay. But if you have money to renovate, maybe get a renovation loan, a home equity loan, and renovate and remodel and then just buy something else. Kids are gone, kids are all gone, back to school. People, on average, they live in their home about 2 years before they sell. So cash out, cash in. There's, neighborhood is changing. There's many, many reasons. But sellers, we really need you. Talking about the MLS, we need more listings in this low inventory market than ever. And, the MLS is a database that really supports buyers, sellers. We are special agents. I'm a special agent. I can look at properties, Tennessee, South Carolina, Virginia, North Carolina. I can do a real estate review and get you information. And I pay into the MLS. And it is something that is really important because if you want to get the most value in selling your home, you can do it for sale by owner, but I can tell you most for sale by owners end up hiring a special agent like me to list their property because they get the most value and they leave the least amount of money on the table when they work with an agent who really researches and knows the area and knows the market. The other thing we're seeing with buyers is, Gen Zers, millennials, they plan to buy homes. They are about 46%. 46% of buyers are millennials, and 33% are Gen Zers. So, roughly that 40% overall average, those are the buyers, and they are young Americans who want to invest in the largest investment you can place, which is in a home. And that's really important. They're selling their cryptocurrency or they're selling their stock because they've been, well established in the market. And again, 17% of the market values real estate. So we will always be a player in the market. It is always a good time to sell. It is always a good time to buy, especially in Western North Carolina. Again, Judy Moulton, Grateful Mindset Properties, Realty Radio host, gratefulmindsetproperties.com, coming to you live every week, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. on WHKP.com, 107.7 FM, and WHKP is also AM 1450. Or just go on gratefulmindsetproperties.com and check out some of our previous podcasts. They're there. They stick around. You can go on Spotify. You can go on Apple. We're on Instagram, Facebook. You can find us anywhere you need to. Thank you so much. So I am going to bring on Mark Powers. I mentioned him a few moments ago. I have Mark, my special guest this week, a writer, worship consultant. He is Mountain Song chorus director, which I'm a member of Mountain Song. I love it. I also do it with my daughter. He lives here in Hendersonville. So Mark, tell us about, things that are going on with Mountain Song. Anything you want to share with our guests today, or our audience today?
Thank you, Judy, for having me on. It's such a great joy to talk about Mountain Song. It's so fun, and we're a musical family, and we're so glad to have you and your daughter be a part of us.
Thank you. So tell me what's going on with Mountain Song. Tell the audience where, everything that you think is important for them to know.
Okay, I'd love to. We just started up for our fall season, and we meet on Monday nights from 6:30 to 8 down in Saluda, which is just a stone's throw from Hendersonville and from everywhere else. And we rehearse at the Saluda Center just across the old railroad tracks from downtown, 6:30 to 8 again. And anyone 16 years old and older who can carry their part in 4-part music, that's sing soprano, alto, tenor, or bass, is welcome to come and be a part. And we've got one rehearsal under our belt, but we still got 2 more when we can take on new members. This coming Monday, the 18th of September, and then September 25th, and then we'll close for new members because we got to learn the music. So our concerts will be in November, the first Thursday, I think it is, maybe the second Thursday. I think it's the 9th and the 12th of November. And then we break for a couple of weeks, and then we have a little mini Christmas season that comes after that. But we're sponsored by the Saluda Downtown Foundation, and that's why we rehearse in Saluda. But we have people coming from everywhere. We've got folks from Rutherfordton and Ellenboro and down in upstate South Carolina and Inman and Travelers Rest and Hendersonville and Edneyville and just from all around. It's a wonderful, and of course from Saluda. But it's a wonderful musical family that started a year ago. So we're just entering our second year.
It's only been a year. Wow. I didn't realize that.
That's right.
That's fabulous. And it really does have a great reach. And there's, men, women, people of all ages.
It is, yes.
And all experiences, right? Because I came and I sang like back in whatever years ago, and my daughter sang in school, but she had more experience than I, and she actually coaches me.
We have a lot of folks who you don't have to be a soloist. They just follow their part, love to sing, want to try being a part of an exciting chorus. Our rehearsals are upbeat. I do a lot of teaching. I've been directing choirs and choruses in all kinds of settings for over 40 years, and it's such a joy to have this opportunity to get Mountain Song up and running. And we sing with about 35, 40 people, and we're hoping to reach toward 50 this season.
Okay.
So we had a fall and spring season last year, and we'll into our second fall season now.
And are you able to share what music you might be?
Oh, yeah. It's exciting.
Because I'm really excited about it. So
yeah, we are a secular community chorus, so we're very inclusive, open to everyone, love to have anyone, again, who can sing, carry their part in 4-part choral music. But we do a theme every season, and this theme this season is home.
Oh,
so we're singing songs about home.
Okay.
So we're singing Simon and Garfunkel's Homeward Bound.
Ooh.
And we're singing Home by Michael Bublé. And we're singing a folk song about home that's a cappella, which means no accompaniment.
Ooh.
We're going to have a special guest soloist with us this year, a guy who's a friend of mine from Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh, nice.
Who plays saxophone and clarinet, and he's going to be playing with us and then playing a few solo pieces on the concert. But we'll do 8 songs, and all of them kind of focus around that theme. We've got a Bonnie Raitt song, and we've got mentioned Simon and Garfunkel. We're going to do "Take Me Home, Country Roads" by John Denver,
of course.
So we're doing a lot of good stuff. We'll do an African American spiritual,
perfect,
and called "Ain't It That Good News."
Is
on the docket for fall. So got some great music, a lot of fun, not too hard, but still fun and challenging enough to feel like you've accomplished something.
Well, it's perfect that you're talking, home. We're talking about, real estate and real estate radio show with, human interest in art and science and obviously local folks. And so that's fabulous that's going to be the theme. I'm really excited. So, you're also a writer. Talk about that, because I don't know much about. Tell me, a little bit more about that.
I had a book published in 2013 that was about worship. I was working in the church music arena, and the book is on Amazon. It's called Going Full Circle: Worship That Moves Us to Discipleship and Missions. And but then during quarantine, I got an idea to write a novel. And so I'm in the process of writing. I wrote the novel, and then I rewrote it, and then I rewrote it again, and then been through all kinds of different things over 3 years. But now I'm working with a writing coach.
Oh, nice.
And he's bringing me along, and that should come out sometime next year, early 2024. I also do a blog. My website is markcharlespowers.com, and I publish a weekly blog that comes out each Thursday. And it's accessible on that website, markcharlespowers.com.
Okay, that's great. Well, that's good to know. I didn't know that. I knew about some of your writing, but that I like the part about working with a writing coach, and then that you're going to have something coming out next year in the blog, and obviously the worship piece. And it's interesting to me because when I think of singing and the sort of the mountain song community, and that it's a community chorus. I see myself as a spiritual person, and I think of singing as very sort of worshipful or spiritual, or certainly it's something that really speaks to the heart and the soul, and it's a gift.
It does, and it's physical, it's kinesthetic, so it gets your body involved in good deep breathing, and it's social as well. It connects you with other people. That's why we call Mountain Song our musical family. You can get more info about Mountain Song at mountainsong.info on the website, mountainsong.info.
Okay.
And it's just singing is such a wonderful opportunity to be lifted out of whatever is dragging you down and get above that and focus on some of the beauty and the wonder of life and celebrate it with good friends who share the same musical giftedness, and it's a great way of bringing people together.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I know that your wife sings with us, which is fabulous, and then I think the who accompanies on a piano. I'm sorry, I forget his name. Yeah,
Steve Stone is our assistant director and accompanist, and Steve's a longtime friend of mine. We've known each other for over 40 years, and we reunited when we got up here, and so he's a great asset to us, and we just have a lot of folks from he kind of works in the Rutherfordton area, so he's brings some folks from Rutherfordton.
Okay.
And we're just, like I said, just a regional community chorus, open to everyone who can, 16 years and older, who can sing their part in a 4-part setting and come and be a part of us.
And also, so we have piano accompaniment, and sometimes we have drums, or
we have some guest musicians. In the spring, we had drums, bass, and a brass quintet. This time, we'll have probably an acoustic guitarist, piano, and the saxophone clarinet player as our guest.
Wonderful.
And we even had dancers last spring.
Oh, I forgot
had
about
a couple
that.
of swing dancers.
That's right.
Danced to one of our songs.
So who knows? Maybe we'll find some dancing in this year as well. Who knows? So I'm trying to think of what else that is important. You've brought so many sort of vital pieces that are so community involved, and to me this radio show is all about community and resources, and if there's something else I'm trying we got
we
worship,
do a concert in Saluda, and we'll do a concert in Hendersonville.
Okay, that's
and
right.
Again,
that's true.
I think it's Thursday. I think that's November 9th, and then Sunday, November 12th.
Okay.
And it's information on the website, mountainsong.info. Again, rehearsals Monday nights, 6:30 to 8. Saluda Center, 64 Greenville Street, right across the old railroad tracks from downtown, just slightly up the hill.
You don't need to be able to read music. You will have help with that.
Yeah, we'll give out rehearsal CDs and thumb drives with their part highlighted, so they can help. So singers can help learn their part
and the sound
It's
Mark, you're originally from South Carolina, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Columbia, went to Furman University and majored in music, then got my master's in music in Louisville, Kentucky, and came back to South Carolina and worked in all kinds of settings, mostly church music settings and community settings for 40 years, and retired up here a year and a half ago, built us a house on top of a mountain.
And it's a gorgeous house.
And we love it. It's the greatest. Hendersonville's the best.
Hendersonville's yeah, Mark said, hey, I was a few minutes late because I was on the mountain and I was just sort of carried away.
I sit on the porch and time stands still.
I get that. And why did you choose Hendersonville, of all places?
We always wanted to live in the mountains, but we had looked at other places that were further away. But then we started coming up to Hendersonville and Saluda and all the area on spring break about 10, 15 years ago, and we went, wow, this is great. We could still be fairly close to our family in Columbia, but still be in the mountains, and didn't have to go up into Tennessee or way up into North Carolina or Boone or somewhere like that. And so we're 2 hours from family in Columbia and Charlotte, and we built a home and just had a great builder who is certified and knows his stuff.
Yes, exactly.
And did everything well.
They did a great job.
And a good realtor on both ends in Columbia and up here, and just moved up here permanently.
And your daughter, she's on a mission right now, isn't she?
Our daughter and son-in-law are Songs of the Folk.
Okay.
They're a folk duo. They've sung all around the area here. They're on Spotify. Look them up, Songs of the Folk. But they've just moved to England for 2 years with World Witness, and they will be there. They started there in mid-July, and they're singing for refugees and for prisoners in prisons, and singing in home concerts that people host them in their home, and they're reaching out to do ministry type things and mission type things in Chelmsford, England, which is about 45 minutes north of London.
Okay, so the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
You must be so proud.
We are. Well, Kay and I, my wife and I, are very, very proud of them. They're just great musicians. They both have master's degrees in music, so they're not just any old body off the street.
Right.
They're really sharp, and their music is tremendous. They write all their own music and perform originals. So Songs of the Folk. Look it up on Spotify or Apple Music or any of those sources, or YouTube, or on their website.
Are you going to be joining them at all, or seeing?
We are. That's why we're taking 2 weeks off.
Oh, I want to hear about this.
After we sing our November concerts, we're going to go over to London and England and Ireland.
Nice.
My heritage is Irish, so I always want to see it. And we're going to spend a little bit of time with them before we come back and do our Christmas thing with Mountain Song. So
will you sing with them, or will you be involved in any of the
I sang with them one time on an old song we used to do in college, and I think they kicked me off the group after that.
No, don't say that. Oh.
No, they are so good and so self-contained. What they do is so polished that
Perfect.
They didn't need to open it up to some old guy.
Oh, but it'll be nice for you to be able to see them, because you haven't seen them since they left, right?
Right. They left July the 4th.
I remember it was the summer. Yeah. And so just so you know, Mark Powers is a wonderful director. I've had many teachers over the years, and I can tell you that, he's very gifted in really getting all of us in the community, when we go to chorus. It's Monday is the highlight of my week every week. I always say, my daughter and I talk about that, but he really does a great job, like just including everybody and making everybody feel, you're welcome, making everybody feel, welcomed and a part of something that is great.
We try to keep the rehearsals upbeat and fun and very inclusive, and just build our family together.
Thank you, Mark, so much for being on the show with me today. I really appreciate you. I'm grateful to have you here, and I'm grateful that I'll be at choir practice on Monday. And any listeners out there, have any questions for me or for Mark, you've heard his website, mine. Please reach out if you forget anything that I've said. 828-290-0940, gratefulmindsetproperties.com. And we love that you listen each week, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. This is Judy Moulton, Grateful Mindset Properties Realty Radio host, bringing a tad of real estate, art, science, human interest, and certainly local folks that have something wonderful to offer, like Mark Powers from Mountain Song. So thank you.